more recently, we focused on campus climate. And what's been good about that is we've been able to come in kind of third party, more objective, just work with the data, and then let the institution know what the biggest issues students and faculty have with around campus climate. And then also break it down by different subpopulations. Here we compare a person of color with a non-person of color to see what the biggest concerns are. And both of them pretty much agree promoting open discussions and protecting privacy was the biggest issue. But a non-person of color also identified, concerns around political perspectives. That's a little bit a bigger concern for them. And others maybe concerns around gender issues. So what we do at K-Analytics, these are the 4 things we kind of help you with the 4 survey pipeline. We can integrate with your survey platforms, but then once we have access to the open-ended comments, we can quickly extract themes for you. In topic modeling, that's where we cluster similar comments with similar meanings all together, and then we do segmentation analysis. But today we'll focus just on a simple way to get themes out of your comments, a little bit better than just word clouds. So here are the goals today. I'm going to identify key concepts from natural language processing and linguistics and how they're used to analyze language. We'll apply some general NLP functions using the natural language toolkit in Python. And then we'll visualize and interpret the results. And then lastly, we'll recognize some of NLTK's limitations. And so I'm going to switch between code and slide. And so we're using Google Colabs today. It's a free tool provided by Google so that you can kind of run code without any installation. And it's all in the, it looks like this. So let me try to zoom in. So I'll show you, this is easier than to say. So you write a simple print statement like hello everyone, and you simply just have to press play and your code will run. And it supports many different types of languages too, not just Python. You can do R and everything as well. And it's like a notebook because it's got formatting and you can create, chapter headings. So it's a great way, I think, to learn. And yeah, and it's not Team Coco. Just to clarify our pipeline today. I'll work with, I'll present the survey data. Then I'll show you some pre-processing techniques like tokenization, removing stop words, stemming or lemmas, and parts of speech. Then we'll look at how to generate some n-grams, and then we'll visualize them. So that's one example, like a word cloud. And another one using network graphs. So the data set. So out of 140,000 comments from Coursera, we're just going to filter it and work with courses that are related to English and writing courses. So that comes out to 1,297. And the data set's available on Kaggle. So you can go to Kaggle, which is a large data science open source database for open source data. You can download that and take a look. But just within 1,297 comments, there's 19 unique courses. And so the biggest one is writing for children, business writing, maybe advanced writing. So there's a lot of writing courses. And the reason I picked that too is one of the things you notice is with NLP is you really want to have clean data, especially if your data set's not that big, like 1,200. And I figured, well, if someone's already, passed their writing course, they probably have better writing abilities in terms of how they're writing their comments than other programs. So let's see, we can load our data. So when you load up this page, there's enough documentations that I think it's okay, but feel free to email me if you have any questions. So we'll load the data, and the data set is, the default data set's already on the website. So you just have to run it, and then we'll get to see what it looks like. Yeah, so here's our data set here. The first column is the course name. the review, and then the label. And the label is a score from 1 to 5 of how much the student liked the course. So we'll do data pre-processing. We'll take an example sentence like writing a research paper is one of the most useful courses for all professionals. So the first step is tokenizing it. So breaking down a sentence into its individual components. Tokenization can be sentence to words or words into individual letters. Sometimes you want to analyze things by their individual letters, maybe in fields like medicine, when you're dealing with DNA or other codes. But in most cases in our work, we work at the word level. Okay, so, before we start, I'll show you what the first word cloud looks like. So this is a typical word cloud from the same comments. You can see professor is the biggest comment and course, excited. But here's the biggest challenge I have with word cloud is they don't provide a lot of context. It's just a frequency count. So we'll see how we can improve that later. So in this code here, we're installing the natural language toolkit, and then we're going to import it. And then here we'll tokenize it using the tokenize function. And you can see the sentences are now broken into individual words separated by a comma. One thing about tokenization, which is also known as bag of words, is that it removes the order of your sentences. But in most cases, we can still understand the concept or the context just by looking at the words. But sometimes it's important to know directions because if you're Googling, maybe you're thinking about the color, sky blue. It's a little bit different than blue sky. One is color and one is about the weather. The next step typically in the NLP pipeline is to remove stop words. And here are all the default stop words that come out of NLTK. And we call them stop words because these are words you can typically safely remove and it won't affect the overall meaning of your sentences and comments. But you should pay attention to some of the words like but or not, especially if you're going to do sentiment analysis later, because those can change the meaning of your sentences. So in 4.2, we'll do just that. We have a little helper here in NLTK called stop words. And then we'll download all the stop words and then we'll run it to just kind of see what the stop words are, which are here. I, me, myself, we, are. And you can change it to other languages. I think it supports quite a few, at least all the modern popular ones, German, Spanish, French, Chinese. And so now we can apply, let me make this bigger, the stop word function here. Oops. And you can see the original sentence. Writing research paper is one of the most useful. We tokenize it. Writing research paper is one of writing research paper, one useful course. And the next step, we lemmatize our words. And it's not, removing the lemmings, but more about getting at the dictionary form of a word so they can be analyzed as a single item. With text analysis, you run into just a lot of data because the machine doesn't know the words really. They need a way to convert it to numbers. And so if the more you can get words to be the same or kind of reduce the dimensions, the easier your analysis will be. So what that means is like words like studies or studying, they all become study. And that's also very easy to do with NLTK. You just, from the NLTK stem, you import WordNet Lemmatizer and you download the WordNet model And then, let's see. Here are some words I've created: dogs, kittens, students, profs, professors, and teaching. And then we'll see what it looks like when it's been lemmatized. So dogs become dog, kittens become kitten, student, student, profs, prof, professors, professor. But then, oops, teaching remains teaching. Now, why I wasn't able to recognize teaching is because it doesn't have parts of speech information associated with the word. And so when it doesn't know what part of speech is the word, it'll default to a noun. And it just treated teaching as teaching. So it's important too, when you're doing NLP, is to give as much context as you can. And so the next step is to add parts of speech. And I thought there was only 10 or 15 when I started, but there's like 30 somewhat different parts of speech. I was very surprised. And here's a chart of all the different parts of speech in the English language. And the smart student easily passed the hard exam. Here we have, I always forget, determiner, JJ's adjective, noun, adverb, verb past tense, determiner, adjective, and exam. And parts of speech is also very easy to implement. Again, we import parts of speech tag. We download one of the pre-trained models, and then we apply it. And it's really fast. Let's see. So, yep. So you can see our sentence here has been tagged. Writing is a verb, research is a noun, paper is a noun. Yep. And so now we're going to go through, that was just one sentence, by the way. So now we're going to go through our whole 1,300 comments and go through each word and give them a noun, a verb, or an adjective. And the reason we're only assigning 3 of them is those are usually the only 3 types of parts of speech that can be conjugated. So did it work? Yep. And okay, so with this line of code, we will apply it to every single word. And let's see, it should be done. Takes a little bit longer, but it shouldn't take that long. And it's done. Let's see. So there you go. So we start with writing research paper is one of the most useful. Writing research paper is one of. Remove stop word, writing research paper, 1 useful course. Lemmatized, write research paper, 1 useful course. Yeah, so a little bit of reflection. The model that we use, the WordNet, was developed by the University of Pennsylvania. It's called the Tree Bank Dataset. This is my favorite comic. And it uses a greedy average. So what it basically does is it's really good at words that are very common, but it's not as accurate when it comes to rarely used words or more obscure words. So you run into issues sometimes with homonyms, like in this case of a clogged toilet. So I also give people the option to export their CSV file, the results. And I'll show you what that looks like. It's appearing in the wrong window, but let me drag it in. So yeah, so when you export it, you actually get your original comment, tokenized, remove stock words with the parts of speech, and then lemmatized. I think I'm seeing some chat windows show up, but I'll try to read them near the end. It'll make it a little bit easier. So, but I'll definitely address every question. Thank you. And then now that we've done, that was all pre-processing, by the way, and there's a very controlled environment. You're gonna run into probably a little bit more challenges, but now we can start analyzing the text. And one way to do that is to look at what we call n-grams. And the N just stands for unigram when you're looking at one word at a time, which is what typically a word cloud does. To bigrams when you're looking at pairwise words at a time. And then lastly, trigrams. But you can go up, you can go like 5 grams, pentagrams, I guess. But the higher number you go, the kind of the less data set you'll be able to work with. Because you can only apply the highest number of grams by the shortest sentence you have. So n grams, yep. So here in section 5, we'll import just a counting function to help us count. And then here we can specify 2 for bigrams. And it's really quick, it's already done. So we know that great course seems to be the largest. Peer review is the next, and write skills, probably writing skills. Excellent course and learned a lot. So I'll show you how to make a network graph as well. And I find them a lot better than word clouds, because with a network graph, you can kind of see the relationship of 2 words or more at a time. And you can kind of just create a lot more context. And a network graph is a kind of a mathematical structure used to study pairwise relationship between objects and entities. And it makes them ideal for visualizing bigrams. It's used a lot in transportation and logistics, and also in social media analysis. So, and this chunk of code here is just all about the network graph. So let me zoom out a little bit. You can specify the size of your font, the color, and all that. And then you can export it as a PNG or an SVG. So we're going to visualize about 1,300 comments now. There it is. So you can see easily we can see that overall for all the English writing courses on Coursera is overall positive. People are saying how good the course is. They really enjoyed the course. Amazing course, easy to understand. Love the course. It helped a lot. The course helped a lot, but not only that, they learned a lot. And what did they learn? They learned about business writing. They learned about improving writing skills. They learned about writing essays and academic writing, and they highly recommend it. So it's the same information, but it's just a lot more context. And what you can do too is you can play around with the size of the nodes to kind of show how important certain combinations of words are. And then you can also export it. So you can take it and then put it in a report like this. Okay, and lastly, if you do want to use the word cloud, I recommend having 2 or more words, just to have better context. And so you can do that as well here. So it's the same information, but just presented differently. And as a word cloud, great course, learned a lot, excellent course. So let me go back and some close recommendations. I do recommend you keep your open-ended questions succinct, especially when you're starting out. It'll just make it a lot easier for you to work with the data and analyze it. A lot of the different kind of introductory packages have some limits too. So maybe consider keeping things below 128 characters. But as you start, if you go the route to learn more about NLP, a lot of these limitations go away because they become less reliant on formulas and more on kind of a network-based analysis. And I don't show it here, but you should run a spell checker as well, preferably in the beginning. It just makes analysis a lot cleaner and better. You'll get better results. We do build custom dictionaries for institutions we work with. because the machine just wouldn't really know what the acronyms, a lot of departments have their own acronyms and a lot of programs have acronyms. Yeah, it just wouldn't really know it. You can always replace the acronyms with their full kind of phrase. That helps sometimes. So one example, I was working with an institution called Thompson River University, TRU. And so they use the acronym TrueStart. So I was wondering what they were starting. There was a lot of students were making a lot of comments about TrueStart and how much they loved it. And I couldn't figure it out. So when I talked to the institution, TrueStart was an acronym for one of their early high school to college course taking programs. And so that's just something even I didn't know, and the machine would not have known. It would just have it just treated start as a verb. And then when you start quantifying your themes, sometimes the biggest categories might be the least interesting. And so what I find is, especially with course evaluations, the biggest complaint is usually too much homework, too much reading. But that's kind of, tough luck. You got to do what, you're a student. But if you go down to about like the 25% to 15% range, you start finding more actionable insight. Maybe students of, let's say, a nursing program feel that the course learning outcome didn't match the course outline. So that's something we've seen. Or a lot of students saying the URL for a certain program are broken. Those are things you can quickly identify. And then you can probably get rid of adverbs as well when you're doing your analysis. Additional topics to think about are sentiment analysis, which is how you can break down the words and assign them a score of positive and negative meaning. And once you aggregate it up, you'll get a score on how positive or negative the person felt about a certain issue. And then what we do now too is we do topic modeling, which is an unsupervised approach to kind of quickly group sentences with similar meanings together. And this is also another way to quickly understand the different topics in your comments. Some additional resources. So here for folks who are interested in Python and maybe have not used it very much, here are some kind of good introductory kind of books to work with. I know for Automate the Boring Stuff, I think their first edition is free now. But this is a really popular one because it's focused on projects. So every project you finish, you'll actually learn a great deal of different Python concepts as well. And then Tiny Python Projects is another one. And these are books that IAIR had asked me to share with everyone as well. And then once you, and this book, A Whirlwind Tour of Python, was written specifically for, I guess, folks who already have some statistical programming backgrounds, perhaps in other languages like R or MATLAB. And his first edition is completely free as well. So the link is on the slide and I'll share it with everyone later. And a shameless plug, me and Isaiah, we do a podcast on Python. And so we recommend this book. And a lot of what I've shown you today is available in the NLTK book as well, and that's also free, the first edition at least. So that's the kind of the great thing about Python. It's a very community-driven language. So a lot of resources are completely free and open source. Just want to acknowledge my team for their work. With me on Kinalytics, Tal, my developer, and Adrian, our designer. And then we had some summer interns this year from Toshiko and Sharon. And then my podcast partner, Isaiah. So those of you who might be curious, you can check out Python Out Loud, where we kind of problem solve out loud and then solve problems together and using Python. And then lastly, we did launch a beta platform. So for those of you who are interested and don't want to get so involved in the code, we have unigrams now. So we're happy to sign people up on beta to try it out. And this is what it looks like. This is the same data set. But this is 140,000 comments. So these are all your raw comments. You have your score to show the different topics it's grouped into. So if we look at group 1, we know it's about, the positiveness about each of the courses from the keywords here, and you can generate a graph to kind of see why people like the course, because it was easy to follow, and there is a great teacher in the program, and machine learning. And if you click on a different topic, you get a different type of set of themes. Great introductory course, great introduction on Python programming, presented information in a great practical and useful way, and explained basic concepts, and it was easy to understand. It's important to note with when you start getting into cluster analysis like we do here, it's on a distribution, so certain comments can fit into more than one topic, and so this is where you see some overlaps. And then the comments all filter too. So now you can quickly find all the comments that talk about, what a great introductory course it is. Yeah, so thank you, everyone.
Cool, thank you, Kevin. That was great. And I think it was really informative about NLP. If you, I think there are, I know I typed in a couple comments, but I think, do you have a preference for people unmuting themselves and asking comments or typing in their comments?
Kevin, you're muted.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah, it'll be great if people can kind of speak out. It'll be nice to interact. I'm just reading through the comments now. Maybe I'll address some of these first. Yes, the PowerPoint, do I share it with you, Jennifer, after, or do I post it somewhere?
So we've got a Google Drive, so we can send you a link to that so you can post it, and then we can have the full version of it, since I didn't start recording until partway into it.
Okay, great.
So that would be great, thank you.
If people want to get the code quick, they can go to workshop.com and sign up, and there's a YouTube video, with the code as well.
Cool.
Can school purchase? Is this something the school can purchase? Do you mean unigrams or?
Anything that you were sharing with us. I was just interested in,
yeah,
is it all freely available, or how would a school that was interested in using it go about that?
Yeah, so I would work with them to, develop custom analysis for their institution, build a custom dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we're creating unigrams is to kind of let an institution kind of drill into the data themselves a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a beta platform now, so we're not really charging it right now. So
cool.
It's very, but yeah, we definitely, a lot of what we do is more custom analysis, because language is very nuanced, and so our models are tweaked to fit the institution. Oh, I should mention that, so what we do really well too is we can hide faculty names automatically, student names, numbers. Sometimes people write their email or their phone number, so those can be masked automatically. And so that helps a lot with faculty surveys, especially sometimes it gets into union laws, it gets a little messy. I missed the beginning. Oh, recorded, yes. There will be, okay. How would someone find out more about the beta testing? Oh yeah, if you go to Unigrams, there's a sign up form, and you just type in the comment like IAIR, yeah, and I'll know where it came from. Great.
Cool. Does anyone else have any other questions for Kevin? If not, you've got your email there, so we know where to find you, and we'll have your presentation. So thank you for presenting this with us, sharing it. It was great. It was a really nice presentation of the power of analytics for organizing all of your text.
Are there folks here already doing some of this at their institution? Oh.
Um,
Yeah, well,
we're-
I hope you can try it soon.
yeah, I was gonna say, we're
It's a
not
lot of
doing,
fun. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
let's see, yeah, we got some people trying Python. Yeah, most people are not, it looks like, doing text analysis, right? Any automated text analysis right now. I know we're not, but it would be something that would be very useful.
Yeah, I started really too because I was too lazy to read the comments. So it's out of pure laziness.
I mean, it's
And
a
then
very time-consuming activity since I've recently been doing quite a lot of it myself. So,
but it does get better, and some of these tools I'm sharing with you will definitely save you a lot of time. So feel free to try it out. Email me when you have any questions. Yeah. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, there are commercial platforms as well, but I don't find them. Sometimes I run into a lot of issues because they don't really fit kind of the context of higher education. So I think they're good for kind of broad themes, but we have different issues than like like Amazon customer reviews for like a product stuff. It's a little bit different.
are there any specific differences, Kevin, that you could share with some of the, like you said, the products that are out there?
Yeah, the biggest difference is those products are focused on trying to have broad applicability, and then in doing so, it loses a lot of the kind of industry specific nuances. Couple of products, a lot of what I've seen are people focusing on different sectors, like I am now with education. Then those ones tend to work really well, a lot better than the ones that have it generically. What you can do is if you see a product and they let you test it, just write this sentence. The TA in my PhD program was amazing. And then you'll know if it works well. If it works well, it'll know that TA is teaching assistant and PhD is a doctorate degree.
Mm-hmm.
But if it turns back the same sentence, then that's kind of my litmus test.
Cool. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I
Yeah, you're
really
welcome.
appreciate you joining us and being a part of IAIR.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I guess maybe I'll see some you folks later at the evening session.
We've got a happy hour coming
Happy
up
hour.
later. That is.
Yeah. It's
All
great. I can enjoy happy hour at 8 a.m. So.
That's true. I suppose. Well, we'll see how today goes, and then maybe we'll all be wanting to join you for happy hour tomorrow at 8 a.m.
I look forward to it. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Take care.
stop the recording now.